Well, in my family, all the hardest decisions are made around the dinner table. So there I was with my dad and my sister. We were sitting at our dinner table in our one bedroom loft apartment in Dallas, Texas. My dad had just divorced my mother from a 20-year marriage. Apparently, she had been cheating on my dad for a long time. So me and my sister had a lot of issues, and a lot of trust was broken around that time. There was a big gap between my sister, us, and my mother. So my dad sits us down and he says, Josh, I've been called up for deployment. My dad was in the National Guard. I'm going to be going to Iraq for a year, and I'm leaving this decision up to you. You can either go back with your mom, live with your mom, or you can stay in Dallas and take care of your sister. Now, when I before I started thinking about anything, my sister, I looked at her and she was almost like caught in breath, just kind of waiting for my answer to see what was I going to choose. I had my first semester in college, was a 1.0, terrible, dealing with insecurities of what had happened between my parents, and just general thinking like, what's the best thing, not just for me, but for my sister. Had spent the last few years taking care of my sister in the wake of all the yelling and arguing that my parents had done. So I really wanted to do what was right for my sister. So I turned to my dad and I said, you know what, I think we'll stay in Dallas. I'll take care of my sister. And he says, you know what, I think that's great. My sister just kind of like let her breath go and was kind of happy, kind of accept, a little bit of relief knowing that, okay, we're going to stay in Dallas. So my dad tells me, you're going to do great. So he deploys, and me and my sister lived in Dallas for that year. She was really good. We had a great close relationship. I'd make sure she got to school on time. She was in junior high. I'd take her to Burger King and get her croissant wedges and orange juice because I wasn't the cook that I am today. So, a lot of fast food. But there was a point, my sister's birthday was coming up and I wanted to do something special for her. This is the year that there's no mom and there's no dad and there's just us. So I told her, I said, we were at the dinner table and I told my sister, you know what, I think, do you want to have a birthday party? And she turns to me and she says, oh, that would be so great. Do you think we can go to Cece's? It's a pizza place that serves buffet style pizza and has some games. I said, sure, that'd be great. That's simple. I don't have to cook, so that works out. And she said, can I bring some friends? And I said, sure, that'd be great. Having all sorts of things going on at this time, I should have paid attention and told her a set number of kids. But the day of the party, I realized what had happened. My sister had 8 friends at our house that we had to take to Cece's. And at this time, I drove a two-door car, little compact car. We could barely fit 4 people in this car. Now, if you think of the back seat of this little car, we fit 3 kids on the back seat, 3 kids on their lap, 1 kid laying across them, and then 1 kid in the front, and I'm sitting in the driver's seat. And all of us are just crammed in there. The kids are just laughing their heads off, thinking it's the funniest thing, oh my goodness, I can't believe we made it happen. I'm stressed out, worrying that any of these kids, if these kids' parents find out, they're gonna severely look down on me and probably embarrass my sister. So we take off. We go to Cece's, and we get there, and then we have to start this business of getting all these kids out. I mean, I'm grabbing hands and legs and having to just pull these kids out of this car. It's like a conveyor belt, just one clown after another coming out of this car. And we get everybody out. Finally, we're like, all right, let's go. So we start walking up 10 deep, walking up to Cece's, and we realize it's Friday night and it's completely packed. I mean, we were not going to get 10 people on a table. So I turned to my sister and I said, man, this is going to be hard. I don't know what we want to do. And she said, I don't know, it's my birthday. Like, you could tell she was getting stressed. And I said, well, we can go to Crystal's. Let's go to Crystal's. It's like Cece's. It's another pizza place. So let's go to Crystal's. Not the greatest place, but I think it will work. All right, let's do it. So we get back to the car. And at this point, they're getting a little bit better on getting in the car. You know, it took them 5 minutes as opposed to 10 minutes of getting in the car. Now, buckle my seatbelt, and I'm praying that the no cops come and stop us, because going to jail with my sister with 8 to 9 kids in the car would be terrible. So we get to Crystal's, and it couldn't be any different from CC's. Crystal's has, when you drive up to the driveway, there's lights missing in the parking lot. Instead of Crystals, the light reads Stalls because some of the lights are missing. We walk in and it smells like old rug. And my sister even says that there was a cockroach in the bathroom, and my sister's deathly afraid of cockroaches. Now, but in the back of the corner, there's a pizza buffet with, you know, a bunch of people pizza. There's video games in the background, just calling the kids, you know, noises and sound just going off, and all the and enough room for a football team, a few football teams in this place. So we go and sit down, and the kids could care less about the cockroaches and the smell. They just went at it, tore up the pizza, played all sorts of video games, had a great time. Now it's time for us to go home because I had to safely get these kids back home, because I figured I was obligated to make sure to do that. Packing, so we get into the car, and at this point, they're like Navy SEALs of packing in cars. I mean, they packed that thing in like that. 2 minutes, they were set, done, ready to go. They take off, we get back to the house, and in true fashion, we sit around the dinner table and we start singing happy birthday. Everybody for my sister, you know, trying to just make it the best they can, because, you know, my dad's overseas, and just trying to do the best for her. And she turns to me and she says, best birthday ever. And that's when I realized that not only are the hardest decisions, but the greatest payoffs are always made around the dinner table.